Welcome back to the ministry, and today we are talking about the characteristics of a real man. A 3-strand cord is not that easily broken. I want to come from this perspective. A 3-strand cord is not that easily broken because what it is supposed to be is this. You have God. God is the one that is sovereign. Then you have the husband. The husband is a representation and reflection of what God is. He is the groom to his wife, who represents God's vision of the church. And these three are meant to operate together in a braid. They do not operate separately. They do not operate in their own wills nor desires. They operate together. So in order for this to operate properly, you need to have the right characteristics in the man, or else it's going to throw off the woman, because the man is almost like the conduit between God and his wife. Okay? So in order for there to be the right standing, there must be right standing between God and the man in order for him to do so right for his woman. So when you see a man, and you may wonder, why is it that this man ain't never got no woman? He getting older. He look like he alright. He act like he alright. He look like he would be the perfect pickings for somebody. Why ain't never got no woman? You don't hear about no woman that been with him. And you may have seen a picture of him with somebody, but there's a distance there. And you're wondering why. Why is this? Could it be the characteristics of that man cannot be with just any woman? For it is biblical for in a relationship, a man is the leader, and the woman can't get the man unless he chooses her. And he can't choose her unless he chooses God first, because he won't recognize her. I always remember there is this quote that is, I think it's on Instagram under Christian wives something, and it's like, when a man is chasing after God, he will find his wife, because that's how the Lord will show him. Because when he chooses God and focuses on God, God will show him who his wife is. And he will choose her. Why is this man not married? Why has he not made the choice as to who the person is that he's supposed to be with, and that is really godly, and God has yet to show him who that person truly is? Then after, a real man is the type that wants to be the provider and the protector. If a woman is the one who desires to have control in the relationship, it is not going to be allowing the man to be a man within the relationship, and he will not choose her. The man has to lead, and the woman has to follow. It is a duality to that, because if a woman lets the man lead 95% of the time, he is willing to do whatever it is that she desires. But you cannot use that to your advantage. This is why we had Adam and Eve happen. Adam stepped out of his place and let Eve take control and lead him into the sinful act of gaining knowledge he was not ready for, nor was he given permission to get her. He went around God's will, and both were punished for that. You have power as a woman in this man's life, but that does not mean that you have the right, nor ability, or responsibility to tell him what to do. That man is supposed to lead your household. That man is supposed to be the leader. And you are not meant to sit up there and be be the leader within their house. Because when you lead as the female, you throw the entire aspect of the household off. And I've told the story before. There was a woman who she is not letting her husband lead the household. Her children disrespected her. She got sick with cancer, and it was a whole bunch of ungodly order in her house because she was not allowing her husband to be the man in the house. Eve ended up in the midst of what she ended up in because of the fact that she was operating outside of the Lord's will. And she sentenced them both to having pain that was unnecessary and death that was unnecessary. Had they not sinned, how long would Adam have lived? Was he meant to die at all? We don't know. But he surely did not live 1,000 years. He died at 995. If the woman is the one that wants to control in the relationship, not allowing the man to be the man in the relationship, he won't choose her. The man has to be leading the woman. But he has to be stern enough to be a leading and guiding hand to change her direction when necessary, so that she won't go in the wrong direction, by telling her when she is wrong, when he won't be moving on that subject, and also have enough kind stability in order to push her in the right direction, changing and helping her course correct and turning into the person that she needs to become. A real man is going to give a woman he loves stability in such a way that where she is unstable, he will be able to give her good footing to stand on, and then has enough strength to lift her up and elevate her to the level she needs to be on. He is going to love her. He's going to honor her. He's going to cherish her. And he's going to never be a threat to her. He will never lie to her, because it would hurt him too much in covering it up. He will love her and state that love. He will care for her in every way, touch her feelings, so that she also will never hurt him. Can I say that you will never be hurt by this person? No, because even God, it's not that God is intentionally allowing himself to hurt you. He's testing you. He chastises those that he loves. And in the midst of these chastizations, you may feel like God, why you hitting me? God, why you hurting me? God, why you letting this pain happen to me? God, why does it feel like you're allowing the enemy to beat up on me? God, why is this? If your husband is a reflection, there are going to be moments that the Lord is not going to allow him to help you. You're going to have to figure this one out with him alone. And it's going to look like your husband is looking at you like, you was looking for my help? For that? God told me to not help you with that because he wants you to deal with him. It's going to look straightly like your husband don't even care sometimes. And it's going to be like, wait a minute, God, what's up? Because God wants to let you know that, for one, your husband is not an idol. Your husband is still human. And the fact that he is not God in your life. So he's going to allow, if he starts to see you becoming too attached to your spouse, he's going to show you the error in your spouse's ways. He's going to use your spouse to start to push your buttons in the areas in which you don't want him to. He's going to press in those areas and arenas in which you are not going to feel good about. He's going to use your husband, even in the midst of his healing, to push you, to challenge you, to lift you, to elevate you, to do all of these things. He's going to use your husband. And in those moments, your husband might look like your worst enemy to you. And it's not because he is, it's because you're looking through the lens of your triggers, not through the lens of what God is doing. The one thing I know that I had to learn in these past years is sometimes people will say certain things to me, and not everything they said to me was from a place of malice. It was a place that God was using them to speak to me into certain things that I was doing that wasn't right. And when I came and did a check-in with self, I was like, okay, God, let me check in with myself. God will forever be humbling you to check in with yourself. And the first person He's going to use, if you married, is your husband. And it's going to feel uncomfortable when your husband says something to you that is not going to feel good. When he uses his stern voice that you're like, but wait, baby, we supposed to be good. What are you talking to me like that for? And the wrong type of woman will be popping off at the mouth, saying them that you ain't my father. How dare you talk to me like that? Calling him all out his name and so on and so forth. Now me, I'm the type of person, I'm going to be honest with you. Don't push my buttons, especially when you're wrong. But I'm not going to disrespect you. At best, I'm going to try my best not to disrespect you. But don't disrespect me either. I went through an entire relationship at one point and did not cuss the man out the whole time that I was in that relationship. Until the day he broke up with me, I cussed him all the way out. Because I'd been holding that in the whole time we were together. And the way he disrespected me. But when you are in a marriage with somebody, you can't be like, oh, one, you can't be holding your emotions in because the Lord is going to prune you. Don't you dare fast if you think that you're going to hold some stuff in, because the Lord is going to press those buttons while you fasting. He's going to touch those areas while you fasting. He's going to deal with those places while you fasting. Because he has to keep y'all together. He's got to keep you a union. He's got to keep you. And if y'all not dealing with the parts of yourselves that are pressing, the parts of yourselves that would cause you to turn away from each other, that's the moments. The moments you feel like you need to turn away from each other is the moments that you need to defuse the situation and turn towards each other, because that is a point of entry that the enemy can use to wedge between the two of you. And when the Lord allows you to end up in those situations, that means that he's saying, look, I need to see and test to see if you're going to turn towards each other, because a 3-strand cord is not that easily broken. You have to be willing, even in the most uncomfortable scenarios. Let me sit down here and have this conversation with you, because I can't afford for the enemy to get between the two of us. I might not be perfect. You may not be perfect. Let's open up by admitting that. But we're going to disarm and defuse every weapon that we could be using against each other right here, right now. Because if that's going to be the case, this ain't going to work. Because if you don't, y'all, what the enemy will do is he will use y'all issues with one another to mess you up every single time. He will use your bad habits. He will use his bad habits. And he will use those things to manipulate the situation to make y'all hate each other. And then he has a wedge in. Because then all he has to do is bring somebody better. All he has to do is bring somebody that makes you feel better, him feel better, and start to turn your attention away from one another. Don't ever let enemy get in edgewise. Don't ever let the enemy get in edgewise. Don't ever let the enemy get in edgewise. He won't lie to her. Okay. He is strong enough and stable enough not to lead her astray, but she can trust that when they have children, that he would be a great leader to their kids, father to their children, lover to her, best friend. Their relationship will be in such a sync that the foundation will be so strong, so stable, that it will be filled with agape love that is so intimate and in tune with one another that there is no doubt. Furthermore, Ecclesiastes 4:11-12. Furthermore, if two lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? And if one can overpower him who is alone, two can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly torn apart. That is what a relationship should be. And before I leave you with this, I'm going to say this. My prayer to God is this. Very simple. That God is going to back up a little bit when you get married. He's not going to be as present as he once was to you when you were single. It's just going to change. The aspect of it is going to change. He's going to rely on the fact that he already gave you the information necessary in order to handle that situation. But he's also going to anoint you to be under the covering of your husband, and you're going to have to trust him. I may pray something to God, and my prayer to God has to come back to my husband, which is going to come back to me. Me, God, husband. But in the same way, he's got to be one to pray to God, and what he speaks to God is going to come back to me. Whether it's through the fact that the Lord is going to put a check in my spirit, so on and so forth. But as well as a married couple, we should be praying with each other, not just to him, saying individually about each other. It's like your kids coming to you individually with a problem with the other child. When one child comes to you, they like, my brother did this. Because they know mommy going to take care of it. Or daddy going to take care of it. Then the other child comes to you and says, well, she did this. And you be sitting there like, wait a minute. You and you come together and deal with your issues. If you have aught with your brother, come together and deal with it. It's a saying that I plan to bring into my marriage. God got you. God got me. We got each other. God got us. We good. And we never need to forget that. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not boast. Love is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It does not self-seek. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in truth. It will always protect. It will always trust. It will always have hope. Always persevere. Love never fails. This is what we all should strive for in every relationship. I believe that's 2 Corinthians 1-13. I think. I have to look that up, but even if you just look up love is patient, that scripture should come up. But you have to know what it is to walk with God, to walk in God's covering, to walk in a relationship. Because what God does first, I'm going to say this honestly, don't even pray for marriage if you can't walk with God. If you don't know how to walk with God and you don't know how to deal with these areas with God first, forget getting married. God is going to sit you down and He's going to deal with you first. He's going to check with you. He's going to deal with all of these areas. Every single one of these areas first. In you. He's going to test the relationships around you. He's going to use those relationships to test you. Because He's going to test your patience. He's going to test how loving you are. He's going to test if you will become envious or not. He's going to test how much you boast. He's going to check and see how proud you are. He's going to circumcise your heart if you are proud. He's going to show and see if you're dishonorable. He's going to test to see if you're self-seeking. Are you easily angered? He's going to test these areas. He's going to test how truthful you are. He's going to test that, are you willing to protect? He's going to test if you're trusting or not. Because first He's going to test and deal with those trust issues that you had from your daddy wounds from when you was a kid. And He's going to test the men for the mama wounds and the girlfriend wounds. He's going to test these areas. He's going to test if you have hope and faith in Him. When things aren't going your way and He's stretching you, are you going to still have hope? He's going to test, can and will you be preserved within these relationships? because he needs to know that your love is going to withstand the test of time when he puts you in this relationship, because he ain't trying to put you in a temporary situation. He's trying to put you in a long-term situation, and he's trying to put you in something that's going to be secure and a lifetime. Does not mean that it's not going to have its moments. God is going to test you in seasons. Life will test you in seasons. He's going to want to know that in these seasons, can the two of you come together and say, a 3-strand cord is not that easily broken. How are we working with him in order to make sure this is going to keep straight? Because I see a problem coming. We need to be on the same page right now. We don't need to be slipping into our vices or whatever it is. Cover. Protect. Let the man lead. Be willing to follow. But yeah, you are a woman, and sometimes you can see certain things that man can't. And sometimes you're going to have to huddle together and be like, hey, you, me, God, let's get together because I'm seeing something. And the three of us need to have a conversation. And if your husband is a trusting, caring person, he's going to sit down and be like, okay, what you see? Because I trust your instincts when it comes to certain things. What you see? Because it's when you operate together and don't let everybody up in your business. Time's coming. Are you ready? Are you ready? These are the characteristics of the real man. So this is Todd McCameron for the ministry. Until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings. Bye-bye.